Alright, what's going on, guys? So today I'm going to be exposing X for being Nasty C. Yes, you heard that correct. X is alive and he is now playing the role of Nasty C. When these people are playing a new role, their team or whoever's behind this does so much damage control and so many things to prevent you from thinking that this is the other person. And you have to see past that, and you have to see the bigger picture as to what they're trying to hide, because a lot of people would just see some damage control that they did and be like, oh yep, that's not him, and then they'll just stop right there. And that's what they want you to do. They don't want you to keep digging deeper and deeper, because the more you dig, the more you find. And this is just what I found today. So if you guys find anything else, let me know on my Instagram. The links are in the description below. I reply to everybody, and I follow everybody back who's subscribed to my channel. Alright, before we get into it, I just want to give my disclaimer. You know, I love X, I love Nasty C's music, they're dope artists, I'm not hating. I'm gonna need you guys to drop a like on this video, comment, and subscribe, because YouTube has been censoring a lot of my videos, and that'll help get it in the algorithm and to stop the shadow ban. Alright, so the first thing I found, so this is what pops up when you type in X and Nasty C on Google. So Nasty C says, hey X. X says, what? Nasty C says, I murdered you, boy. And then X says, oh really, dude? So right here, Nasty C is the X's next form. So Nasty C is killing his old character. And you know what that reminded me of? This music video. So in this music video, Sad, X is killing off his old character. And, you know, now Nasty C is killing his old character, which is X. So this video is very symbolic. This video is so deep and has so many hints. But I can't play the whole video because they'll probably copyright. But just pay attention to this video. There's a lot of secret messages like that he was trying to tell us. Because here's the thing, you know, this is why I'm not hating on X, I'm not hating on Nasty C, because I feel like it's bigger than him just playing another role. I feel like they're forcing him into this life, like into this, you know, fake celebrity life. I feel like this isn't under his control. I feel like they're forcing him. And, you know, sometimes, and he's not the only one, by the way, there's so many more, and I'm gonna make videos on those later. But with some of these people who are faking other celebrities, they tend to give hints. And, you know, if this person wasn't the other person, then there shouldn't be any coincidences. Alright, another thing I caught on to was after X died, I thought it was a weird coincidence that a rapper called Rico Nasty hops on X's song Proud Cat Owner. You know, the nasty is in the name. Alright, so this is Nasty C's newest interview, and I noticed that he messed up. He slipped up a little bit in this interview, and he kind of exposed himself. So first, I'm going to show this little clip of the interviewer asking him about his new show. So if you guys didn't know, Nasty C is an actor. He is currently playing the role in a show for Netflix. So not only is he acting in real life in the world stage as Nasty C, because he's X, but he's also an actor. The fact that he's an actor proves that he's good at acting, and that he's acting in real life. So pay attention to what he says right here when he asks him about his show that he's acting in, and notice at the end of this clip how he says that his role in the show is not much different from his role in real life. And, you know, he's telling us clearly right there. Watch this.
Dope.
Yeah. So what's your role as an actor on the show?
I'm the guy's best friend slash producer. My name is Zero on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Had you done much acting before that, or was that your debut?
Nah, that was my debut. That was my first time there.
Yeah. How was that? Was it like a bit out of your comfort zone, or did you enjoy it? Or?
Yeah, definitely. I enjoyed it, but it was nerve wracking. You know, I can't lie and say that it wasn't. Like it was my first time. I didn't know what to expect. Yeah, but they held my hand pretty much throughout the whole thing, man. And my part was very similar to what I do for a living. So that made
Alright, so that's the clip of him explaining how he's an actor. Now, check this out. So right here, the interviewer asks him, when did he start making music? And check out his response. He literally says that he doesn't remember. Now, any rapper that you ask, they're going to remember roughly around what time they started making music. Everybody remembers, you know, especially if it's your passion. You're going to remember when you first started and when you were determined to chase your dreams. So, just check this out.
Yeah, that show sounds really cool. So I'm going to have to check that out. I'm presuming we get that in the UK Netflix as well. So
yeah, I think it's great.
Have a look. I wanted to ask, so you've done some huge collabs in your kind of, you say your career is it's like 6 years roughly?
I don't even know, man. I don't keep track. I don't lie to you. It might be, roughly. Might be. I don't know.
But yeah, you've done tracks with like ASAP Ferg and Major Lazer and almost too many people to mention. So I was wondering, who are your favourite people you've worked with in your time?
That I've worked with, T.I. probably. Like, T.I. up there. But...
Alright, wasn't that awkward? Like, he literally asked him when did he start making music, and he couldn't remember. Like, bro, come on. And for those who are gonna say, well, that's just one time. Nope, he got caught messing up again.
All right. Now, but where were you born at? Soweto, right?
Yeah, I just found out. My pop said this like so casually in an interview that I did with him a couple weeks ago at home. He was just like, no, he was born in Deep Blue from Joburg, and I was like, what the?
You didn't even know?
I had no idea.
So then, your entire life, where did you think you were born?
I thought I was born in Durban.
But you weren't.
I wasn't.
Dude, do you even know who you are?
I'm not even sure right now. I might be adopted.
Okay. Now, one of the things that you...
Like, bro, wasn't that so awkward? Like, how do you not know where you're from? But anyways, another thing I noticed was Sway had an X on his jacket. That's not a coincidence. And look at Nasty C's face. He looks so much like X right here in the beginning. Watch this. I don't think he knew the cameras were on him.
Right here in the United States.
Look at his face, bro. He has that like stare that X used to do, where he would just stare at you. And if you guys remember, X used to do this a lot. He used to stare like this a lot. And there's even a video of him doing it at a show. And I tried to find it to put it right here and compare it, but I couldn't find it. But if you guys seen that video, you know what I'm talking about. He always did this stare. Look at this.
States and abroad as the voice of the
and then notice how he just changed right away. Alright, so in this music video, he's clearly telling us that he's gonna fake his death. Or that he faked his death. Because this came out 10 days after his death. Alright, now let's look into a song from Nasty C's new album called Zulu Man with Some Power. This song is called Feeling, and this is actually my favorite song from his album. And I noticed a lot of X references in his lyrics from this song. So he says, yeah, okay, a. So if you guys remember X's music, this is literally his preset to how he makes music. Like, he always says okay and a at the beginning of every song. And Ski Mask does the same thing. And then I also noticed that, and then look at this, the same A flow right here. It says A at the end of every line. So I noticed he made a reference to his past characters. Right here he says, hating on me and loving my clones. You hating my pics but mimic the pose. So clearly he's referencing his past characters, because he did do other characters as well, not only X. But I'll get into that in another video. Then he says, throw me in the ditch, then later realize you planted a rose. So they threw X in the ditch, and now he's coming back. And also, if you guys remember, X used to talk about reincarnation a lot. So here he is, he reincarnated. And then notice how he says, promise you if I don't die a legend, I'ma die trying. When y'all say the names of our legends, y'all better shout mine. So clearly he wants to be a legend just like X. And then in this song called That's Hard, he says, whole new sauce for real, that's hard. Finessing this Pro Tools chains like Vegeta and Goku. So X has a song called Sauce, first of all. And then notice how he mentions Vegeta and Goku. And these aren't the only references. There's so many more in this album, but I don't want to make this video super long. Now, this reference really got me. He says, gave y'all some hope, then y'all try to F me over, and now y'all hopeless. So if you remember, X has a song called Hope. Okay? Then after that he says, old dudes that been in the game with nothing to show for it, out here coaching. Hate that I'm the elephant in the room. So clearly that has to be an X reference. Nobody says elephant in the room. Like, I know it's a phrase, but X is the one who made it really popular. And if there's a theory that you're X, why would you make references that X would make? Like, come on. It's right in front of our face. Then in another song he says, I spit the answers anyway. I talk like this cause I listen to Wheezy every day. And if you guys know anything about X, you know he was a big Lil Wayne fan. Then he has another reference in another song where he says, it's over, I'm cool on it. Death by a diamond. Bet my chain looking like a noose on me. So right here in this music video for Riot and Look at Me, he's clearly wearing a chain that's like a noose. So this has to be one of the most, this one and the elephant in the room are too coincidental, man. Like, there's nothing you guys can tell me to explain why he would say this on his album. Like, come on, dude. Bet my chain looking like a noose on me? Bro, his chain looks like a noose on him. And in this song, Riot, he literally says, you ever seen a guy hung with a gold chain? Like, come on, bro. Let's move on. Now, let's look at some pictures. So, if you guys know anything about X, he always did poses like this. And in his early career, he had gold grills exactly like this. Okay. And, you know, just by looking at him, look how fake he looks, bro. Like, does this look like a real person to you? And notice these earrings. X used to wear long earrings like this towards the end of his career. Like, it's just something off about him. He just doesn't look like a real person. Like a normal person. Alright. So, this is another reference to X. So, he has a song called Palm Trees. And guess what X has? X has a song called Palm Trees. Now, I went on Twitter to see if anybody else noticed any similarities, and I found a lot of people who tweeted this stuff way before I even found out. So this is before X even died. Someone said Drake and Nasty C, but where is X? So I guess he tweeted this around the time that Nasty C mentioned Drake, because apparently Nasty C is the biggest fan of Drake. You know, they always try to do the opposite of their old character to fool you. Because people will be like, well, X would never say that he's a big fan of Drake. Well, obviously, because he wants to do the opposite so that you won't notice that he's X. And everybody would think that that's the last thing X would do, because X painted out the picture that he hated Drake, when in reality that beef was completely fake, just like the Biggie and Tupac beef. Every rap beef is fake. I don't want to hear it. every single rap beef is fake. Alright, now here's another tweet from a guy that says, Nasty C would have sounded really good on Moonlight with X. Like obviously, because it's the same person. And then another person said, Nasty C SMA suspiciously sounds like X Train Food. Now, I heard both of these songs, and I didn't really hear that many similarities. But he might be talking about the beat, I'm not sure. But I didn't really hear any similarities. Let me know if you guys hear anything similar with that. But just the fact that he said suspiciously sounds like X with the little happy emoji, that tells me that this guy knows what's going on. Just like many other people. And then another person comparing X and Nasty C. Like, why? You know? And then another person, X gonna pull me right back to that rap Nasty C just saved me from. So this is crazy. That means this guy was listening to both artists at the same time. And this was before X died. Oh, I guess this guy probably knew Nasty C first. And then he found out about X. See, that's the thing. People like this who found out about Nasty C first, they're most likely from Africa. And you have to think, X was very popular in the United States. He was popular worldwide, but he was mainly popular in the United States. And, you know, what would be the best place to take him if you wanted to fake his death? Take him across the world and make him blow up somewhere else. That way we would have no idea that his other character even exists. And then all the people who are finding out about Nasty C would have no idea that he used to be X, because by the time they find out, you know, X was already dead. So they did a lot of damage control with Nasty C, I've noticed. You know, they made it seem like he was a different person because he dropped music in 2013. And, you know, if you know anything about X, his whole trial was weird. Like, there was something really weird about his trial. And even Geneva has her Instagram as liar. So I feel like she was lying about that whole thing just to have that fake trial, because the judicial system is fake, and they do fake a lot of cases for celebrities, Tupac included. But that's a whole other video. So clearly, when X was on house arrest, he was playing the character of Nasty C. Because if you guys remember, X was on house arrest for a long time and he couldn't tour as much. So where was he at? He was in South Africa making music. And if you guys notice, X's career was very mysterious. Like, he never told us nothing about his past. Like, he was very, very mysterious. He only has like 3, 4, 5 interviews. And he doesn't have that much music. Like, you would think he would have more music. So it just makes me think that all that time he could have been making music, and he was, just for another character. Because Nasty C has about 6 albums. Alright, another thing I noticed is somebody said Nasty C is the only talent after X that can rival Drake. Obviously, because it's the same freaking person. And then somebody said Nasty C might just be the next South African X. Like, come on, guys. What are the odds that even all these other people are seeing this before this theory even blew up? Someone said we were broken when we lost X. Imagine how we would be if we lost Nasty C. Come on, guys. It's right in front of your face. Even regular people are comparing the two. And then one of my favorite ones is that this guy really said Nasty C is one face tattoo away from looking like X. And that really got me thinking, you know, why does Nasty C not have any face tattoos? And it's because he doesn't want to look like X. He doesn't want to have that impression that he's X. Alright, now this honestly was like the cherry on top for me, because clearly X's mom, Cleo, is X's mom. You know, that's most likely his real mom. So they couldn't, you know, sometimes they do get a fake mom for their new character, but they knew that people were going to find out that this is X. So what did they do? They made the story of Nasty C's mother, that she died in a car accident when he was only 11 months old. Like, come on, guys. What are the odds of this? Alright, so this is supposed to be a baby picture of Nasty C. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think babies know how to throw up these horns. And this picture looks very edited. The background looks green screen, Photoshop, all type of stuff. Look, what is this? You guys see this outline right here? Clearly edited. Clearly. I'm good at editing, so trust me, I can see an edit when I know an edit when I see one. And guess who else used to throw these horns up all the time? X. And I thought this was interesting. This is pretty irrelevant to Nasty C, but just something I noticed. Because X was satanic, by the way. Alright, so this is a clip from Nasty C's Instagram dancing to his song called That's Hard. Now, I'm going to edit the video in without sound because I don't want to get copyright. But just pay attention to his dance moves. Why is a African person doing all these American dance moves? Like, bro, do some African dance moves. Like, show us what you do. He's over here doing a Pop Smoke dance and dabbing. Like, bro, do some dances from Africa, bro. If you're really from Africa, you would know some dances from Africa. And another thing I noticed is in this live stream, look at his hair. Notice how it's up with some blonde in it. And a lot of times he likes to wear glasses to cover his eyes because his eyes are a dead giveaway. I'll zoom into his eyes later, but his eyes are a big giveaway. So look at X's hair right here. Very similar, right? Same colors. And then look at this. A foreshadow of what was going to happen to X. And it's also saying that he's two-faced. You know, he's living two separate lives. I'm telling you, man. They give us all the proof we need. So clearly this is a fake face. Like, his hairline looks weird. His face looks too thick. That's the thing. Alright, now let's go through his YouTube videos. So, if you guys know anything about X, he loved remixing people's big records. And I noticed that about Nasty C. He likes to remix a lot of songs too. So his first song on here is a remix. And he claims that this was his first song that blew him up. So I think it's interesting that that's the first song on his YouTube. Sounds pretty much like an industry plant to me. And then he has a song called Switched Up. Yes, you did switch up. Then he has a song called Pressure. You know, there must be a lot of pressure on him. So then he has a song called I Lie. Yes, he's lying. Then he has a song called Problems. Yeah, I bet he does have a lot of problems because he has to live a fake life his whole life. He has a song called Asleep because that's what most of you guys are if you don't think this is X. Then he has a song called Forget because he wants you to forget about the past. He has a song called Phases because now he's going through his new phase of Nasty C. He's leaving his old phase of X. Then he has a song called Changed with the one-eye symbolism and a striped shirt that X loved to wear. And X had a song called Changes as well. So I don't think that's a coincidence. Nasty C has a song with ASAP Ferg. Come on, guys. This is supposed to be a African rapper. Why does he have music with American artists? And I know you guys are gonna say, well, he's signed to a label in America. Well, yeah, that makes it even weirder. You know, why is he signed to Def Jam in the United States when he's from Africa? Like, you have to question everything, guys. Like, how did he even get noticed by the American labels in the first place? Because, you know, everybody I ask, they have no idea who Nasty C is. Nobody in the United States knows who Nasty C is. Like, if you go out on the street right now and ask a random person who he is, they're not gonna have any idea. And you notice the girls that X used to love to wear, you know, wearing shades to cover his weird eyes, his weird eyelashes, eyelids. And notice how this song is called King, right? Well, guess who else has a song called King? X. And he also has a song called King of the Dead. And he also has a song called King's Dead Freestyle. So he's clearly telling us, you know, King is dead. You know, King being X, he's dead. Then he's the king of the dead when he is dead. You know, it's too many coincidences, guys. And since he saw himself as a king, I thought it was very interesting in this article that it says X's mother is known for defending her son's empire. Who owns an empire? A king. In December, Cleo sued X's half-sister for implying his death was an inside job. So I remember hearing about that and I was like, wow, she might be onto something. And then her own mom sues her. Like, bro, does that sound right to you guys? Just for questioning her half-brother's death? Like, come on. So Nasty C has a song with ASAP Ferg, right? Ski Mask has 2 songs with ASAP Ferg. Is that a coincidence? No Tilt and I Love Your Aunt. And he even has a freestyle with ASAP Rocky. And ASAP Rocky shouted out X multiple times. So clearly a connection there. Now, look at this performance from Nasty C. If you guys have seen a lot of performances from X, you know this is exactly how he loves to perform. Check this out.
You guys are so fucking beautiful. I want to see. That's what I said. You ready to try? Right hand side, you guys ready to try? In the back, you ready to try?
That right there really sounded like him right now. That part at the end. That really sounded like something X would say. If you don't believe me, go watch X's shows. This is exactly what he does. He always talks to the crowd like that and tries to make it as lit as possible. Alright, I just thought this picture was funny. Another thing I noticed is Nasty C has a song called My Baby, right? And then DaBaby has a song called Nasty. I really don't think that was a coincidence because then they have a picture together. And actually, this picture was taken before this song came out. So they met, planned everything, and then did it. And the baby also faked his death. He used to be somebody else. Let me know if you guys want me to make that video. But yeah, that'll have to be a whole other video, because this video is already long enough. But yeah, what are the odds that one death faker is hanging out with another death faker? Go figure. Now, Nasty C left traumatized after house robbery. Okay. Number 16. They love the number 6. Covering one eye symbolism. Infinity. X used to always talk about infinity. And he had a lot of infinity symbolism. You guys can go read this article. It's just a fake story of how he got robbed. And this was literally like 9 months before X died. So what are the odds that Nasty C gets robbed 9 months before X gets robbed and killed? Now, not only does he have a picture with the baby, but he has pictures with Post Malone. So how does this guy from Africa have all these pictures with the biggest artists in America, but yet nobody in America knows who the hell he is? Come on, guys. Now let's look at some more pictures and compare them. So I don't know about you guys, but I can't think of another rapper who had his hair like this besides X. And I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there, but if you're being compared to X, the last thing you want to do is dye your hair the same colors as X. Come on, guys. It's right in front of your face. Look, same hair color. Exact same. Look at this. And what are the odds that he's wearing a striped shirt that matches the wall right here? And X used to love wearing striped shirts for some reason. And I noticed that he's wearing sandals with white socks. X used to wear that a lot. In his Look At Me video, he's wearing sandals with white socks. And then I thought this picture looked pretty interesting. You know, with his pyramid ring. And then he has the same grills as X too. And the same teeth right here in the front. And look at his eyes right here, bro. Does that look normal to you guys? I'm trying to zoom in, but I don't think I can. Screenshot this and zoom in if you want. Look at this. No normal human being has this extra loop right here. It's like a little extra layer of something covering his face. It's a mask. And like how I was talking in my last video, Jim Carrey was trying to tell us about all of this. He literally has a movie called The Mask. Come on, guys, wake up. And by the way, after I made that Jim Carrey video, today Jim Carrey started trending, so it's crazy. Now let's compare more pictures. So X has a pyramid right here. And look at his pose and look at how he's standing. Same thing. Now, pay attention to the shape of his face right here. I feel like this angle really shows the shape of Nasty C right here. Nasty C has the same shape right here. Look at that. Slightly different because of a mask and probably surgery, but you can tell this is the same face. Look at that. Same shape. You know what I mean? And look, even same hair, bro. Look at this. Same hair. Like, he literally looks like a younger version of X. Now, let's look at tattoos. So, Nasty C happens to have a tree tattoo. And I thought that was pretty coincidental. Because guess who else had a tree tattoo? And then he has a tattoo that looks like a clock. A half clock. But it's a gas meter, but it looks like a clock, and that's the main point, because X had a clock. Now this is from Nasty C's Instagram. Apparently they painted a mural for him. So many murals across the world. And then look at this. He has a little bit of purple in his hair, just like X. Alright, then I noticed he has 6 albums out. You know, because for some reason his new one isn't coming out right here. And his most recent one, before his newest one, is Zulu with DJ Who Kid. And I noticed that it came out 6 days after the anniversary of X's death. Is that a coincidence? Because they love using the number 3, 6, and 9 a lot. And it's clearly in his name. You know, he has 6 letters in his name. And then his birthday is February 11th. 2 plus 11 is 13. Then X. X has 3, 6, 9, 12. So X has 12 letters in his name. If you add those two, you get 3. And then X's first name, Jace, has 6 letters. His middle name, Dwayne, has 6 letters. And then Onfroy has 6 letters. 666. And then his birthday is January 23rd, which is 1, 2, 3. And if you add that up, you get 6 once again. But they're only months apart, so that's another clue right there. And now to end off this video, this is what really got me, guys. This was 1000% confirmation for me, because you guys know I love Gematria, because it is their secret code and you can find out what they're doing with their own code. So I typed in C, right? Because Nasty C, he goes by C. And guess what came out? 3, 3, 24, and 6. Then I typed in X, and look what came out. 24, 6, 3, and 3. The exact same numbers, just reversed. And the reason for that is because C is the 3rd letter of the alphabet, and X is the 3rd last letter of the alphabet. And also notice how it's XXX, you know, 3 X's. I noticed X used 3 and 6 a whole lot. And then I just thought this picture was funny. You know, his hairline looks fake. Same girls as X, same teeth. He just looks like a kid right here. There's no way this guy is older than X. Come on, guys. Now look at this, bro. Why are his eyelids like this? Look at this big hole right here. This is clearly a mask. Look at this. The mask goes on right there. The eyes say it all. And notice how he has the same black eyes like X. Look, this is clearly a mask. This right here is not normal. Look at this. This is not normal. Especially this one. And look, you can even see how it's makeup and stuff. Look at all that. No regular person's skin has all of that, all those marks like that. Now, a lot of people are going to say, bro, he sounds nothing like X though. His voice is way different. Well, if you guys remember, there's a video of X performing on top of a car after getting kicked out from his concert. And he had a weird accent in that video. A lot of people didn't really catch on to that. But he had a weird accent in that video. And then I even found 2 songs where he had the same exact accent as Nasty C. So go listen to Rare Part 2. I can't play it because of copyright. But go listen to Rare Part 2 and Royalty. In these 2 songs, he has the exact same accent as Nasty C. And notice how it's called Royalty, just like how I was talking about King back then. Alright, and remember that how I told you that Nasty C had a lyric about a noose? Well, X had a noose on his album cover for 17. And look at this. This is X's last Twitter post. might spend a few nights in Tokyo. That is very strange. And notice how the time adds up to 13. 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 plus 6 is 13. And then 6 and 3. This is not a coincidence. They love 6 and 3. And then 18. 6 goes into 18 3 times. 6, 6, 6. That's why X died on 6, 18, 18. Because that's 6 and then 3 6s and then 3 more 6s. And I just thought it was interesting how this was literally his last tweet. Might spend a few nights in Tokyo. ... And then, you know, he probably did go to Tokyo. We just thought he was dead. And yeah, man, that's about it. So last thing I'm gonna show you guys is a couple screenshots from Nasty C's story on YouTube, and you can clearly see that he's wearing a mask. Check this out. Alright guys, drop a like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think. And let me know if you find any more evidence